Okay, I'm Tom Mitchell, and Rich Wymore here, and I are leading the U-City Microcredit Club, which is a ministry of University United Methodist Church, St. Louis. We make loans to entrepreneurs throughout the world, mostly small loans to people that can't get credit through the normal banking systems. We've done it in 59 different countries. We've been at it about 4.5 years, and we're still having a lot of fun doing it. We've made, I think, 227 loans so far. And the amazing thing is that the repayment rate is over 98%, which would make any bank in the United States of America jealous. Okay? We do this all through kiva.org, which is an online system which lines up lending partners throughout the world and offers loans to us that we can participate in. The average loan is maybe $450, and we participate in a part of it, typically $100. And so we get to know a lot about life and occupations and business in countries throughout the world. And it's been a great education for those involved in the club.
One of the loans that we made about 6 months ago was to a gentleman whose name is Kadek, and he's a silversmith in Indonesia, and he has a website, or he's connected with an international marketing company that puts the products on the website. So I was showing my wife the jewelry he made, and she commented on how beautiful it is, and it's really very nice looking thing, and really inexpensive as well. And so I bought her some for Christmas. They shipped it to me. It came in 4 days. It was well protected, and it's beautiful stuff, and she just loved it. But the point of that, as far as we're concerned, is these are real people doing real things, and we were able to not only loan him the money, but buy some of his product as well, and that kind of makes it even more personal than it was before, having gone through that process. Well, I think the interesting thing about what we do is that Tom and my personal philosophy about this is that we really like to. These loans have some inherent risk in the first place. But we really like to push that a little bit and go into the places where the people are really have limited access to credit. So we have made some loans to people who they don't even show their face on the thing, because there would be some danger of them getting in trouble for borrowing money in the first place. And there are people that allow us to take their pictures, but they're women wearing
burqas.
Burqas, right. And one of them that I included in the annual report there was a Egyptian lady living in Albania, and because they're Egyptian, they are excluded entirely from the Albanian economy. So the only way that she could borrow money is through some NGO, through Kiva, because she has absolutely no access to anything basically in Albania. They have their own little community there where they're basically self-contained, and a lot of these countries don't have Jordan's another one. They don't have they're not access to the international money market. So and a lot of small businesses in that country, the only way they have to get access to this stuff is through something like what we're doing. So that's the neat part about this, is we're getting money to people who can't just walk down to the ATM machine and get it. In fact, they can't get it at all, except for organizations like this that are figuring out some other way to get it to them.
One of my favorite loans is we've actually made loans to women, mostly in agricultural pursuits in South Sudan, which is an area of great turmoil. And we decided that we were not going to be afraid of going into areas that were in conflict. And actually, these people have paid back 100%.
Yes.
In South Sudan. So it's very heartwarming to be able to help people in such situations.
And more important than that, it's nice to get repaid, but more important than that, $25 or $100 has allowed these people to significantly improve their standard of living. And I mean dramatically improve it. They're now able to do things like send their kids to school. Because in a lot of countries it costs something to send your kids to school. They're able to do something like, build a house. There was one we made a couple of months ago that she's hoping that she's able to make enough money next year that they'll be able to build a permanent residence, because they're now living in something other than a permanent residence. Well, that's pretty neat stuff when a few bucks is able to make those kind of things happen for somebody halfway around the world. That's what's neat about it for me. If they don't pay it back, okay, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
The fact that they do pay it back and we can then turn around and reuse that money again is even better. The bank wouldn't make a loan like this in the first place. It's number one, too small, and number two, it's way too risky. But if they did, it would be right at the highest rate that the state usury law allows, which in a lot of states is 36% or so. And a lot of these are fairly high interest rates as well. Maybe what, Tom? Maybe
20,
maybe as high as 20 or so.
20 to 30 or 40.
But 20% in where it's the only source of credit that there is, as opposed to 36% in a place like this country, where if you've got really good credit, you could borrow it at 10. It's a real difference. A good bank probably has they write off probably 5%, and they have another 10% probably in some kind of delinquency.
The United Methodist women are studying the Roma of Europe. And
Yes.
of course, the Roma are all over the world, gypsies.
Yep.
Do you know of any loans you've made
Yes, we do. As a matter of fact,
we have
in fact,
more than one.
There's one in the annual report I gave you. There's a lady who raises canaries, and that's a Roma loan, and there are some others as well. We could send you a couple of those.
When we find a Roma loan,
We like
are
those.
attracted to
You
it.
bet.
Yeah.
You bet.
And
Cool.
We try and those are the kind we really like to make, is things like that.
Do you know what countries those Roma loans have come from that you've made?
it was mostly Eastern Europe.
Yes.
Bulgaria?
Albania, a couple. I think some of the former Russian, I think all of those Jan countries and Stan countries, there's a lot of them in there. But
Very
yes.
interesting. Well, I'm glad I asked.
Yes,
And
several of those.
Rich alluded to the fact that we can reuse the money, and at this point, over 4 and a fraction years, we have used every dollar 4.5 times, and we're still rolling.
Yes, and that number gets bigger and bigger and bigger, because as people give us more money, we turn that right in, and as we get the payment, we spin that right back out. It used to be, when we first started doing this, we maybe had, $300 to deal with, and now when we have a meeting, and it's still about as frequent, we're sometimes looking at loaning $800, $900 because it's generating, coming back to us so fast now, because we've got, let's see, what we've made now $17,000 in loans, and we've been repaid back about 12.5 or so of that. So that 12.5 is just turned right back out.
So how much money do you have in it currently?
Right now, the total amount contributed, it was a little over $3,600.
Right.
And we're open to new contributions. The current pool is about $3,300.
Yes.
Because we donated a little bit to Kiva for their operating expenses, and we've had these very small losses. out of the whole thing, we've lost, let's see, $224 out of all those loans.
Right. Yes.
So it really takes a contribution and stretches it out. It's a great fulfillment. I mean, I spent probably 10 years figuring out, well, can we do it in the United States, or can we do it in Mozambique where I did work? Finally, we've got a workable way that an average person can get in there and invest and get lots of feedback about what's happening. It's too many of the other ways it was send your money off and we'll tell you sort of what's going on, but we're connected and know about individuals, and so the sense of relationship is there, even to the point of ordering earrings.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the thing I like about Kiva, and the thing that makes it really good, is that for every loan that you look at, there's a picture of the person standing often in front of their barn or their house or with a group of people right where they live, and so you can see who they are, what they look like. There's always a little bit about they're married and they got 3 kids and all that kind of stuff. So you really feel like you're really connected to them. You're not just sending money off to somebody. You know who these people are. They've got a name, and the representatives of Kiva are out there in these countries, and they're going around checking up on these people. So occasionally you get an update that says, here's how Maria's doing with raising her pigs. She's come in and asked for a second loan, and things are going well. And so it's kind of like Christmas cards. You hear from them once in a while, and you keep in touch with all that stuff.
Oh,
And I like that a lot. And when you've been in some of these countries, in addition to that even makes it a little bit more special, because you got a feel for what life's like right where they are.
yeah.
We've had several loans in the town of Wymore in Mozambique, and I've actually visited there, and there's a Methodist church there. This was before we started to make the loan, so I don't know the individual people, but it's fun to know the village. I think the other thing I'd like to say is we would love to talk to anyone who would like to start this in another
Absolutely.
church.
Yes.
You can do it in another church. It's not hard. It's a very, very interesting project, and we can share our experiences in it and help you get started.